going to live in the past for a minute and apologize one more time to Seattle City Councilwoman Deborah Juarez. 2 years ago, Juarez and 4 other councilwomen were subjected to misogynistic and sexist comments from sports fans, upset at the council for denying a street vacation needed to build an arena in Soto. They were unnecessary, they were hurtful, they were wrong. But they were also from a very vocal minority. And unfortunately, that small number of out-of-line fans became unfairly representative to council members like Juarez of all Sonics fans. We know that's not the case, but I'm not sure she does. Earlier this week, the region's sports fans celebrated the approval of a $700 million renovation of Key Arena into a facility that could house an NHL team and maybe, hopefully one day, an NBA team too. It was a huge win for NHL fans, for Seattle Storm fans, and the city's leaders who finally got their solution for the future of a city asset. The approval of a tangible building also provided a glimmer of hope for those who had their hearts ripped out 10 years ago when the Sonics left town. Fans who saw local leaders back then dismiss all those childhood memories, depriving those fans of sharing the same experience of NBA basketball with future generations. Now, my saying that is hardly a slight on the Seattle Storm and the quality of basketball that organization has produced for a couple of decades now. We love the Storm and celebrate their 3 league titles. But we're allowed to want both. We're allowed to fight for the return of the Sonics. We are allowed to keep hope alive. Councilwoman Juarez worked countless hours as the chair of the Arena Committee. She would have welcomed credit for that effort. But then she said this before the final vote.
I just want to remind everyone that it is 2018. Let's not live in the past. We just celebrated our 3rd WNBA national championship. Go Seattle Storm. Thank you, owners of Seattle Storm. I guess sometimes when I hear people just go on and on about 08 and their hearts being ripped out, I get a little annoyed because that was 10 years ago, so you kind of got to let that go. So.
I'm not sure what was worse, Juarez's dismissive comments or the laughter from other council members. It was a cheap shot, an unnecessary shot. I'll tell you, Ms. Juarez, that I'm more than willing to live in the past in celebrating the Storm's championships in 2004 and 2010 before winning again this year. I'm happy to live in the past when I recall memories of the Seahawks Super Bowl title in 2013 and the Sounders MLS Cup in 2016. And I'm still sickened living in the past, constantly reminded of the Sonics relocation, begging them to return one day. And I'll also tell you that it's incredibly unfair and uninformed to seemingly believe that a Sonics return would serve in any way as a threat to the Seattle Storm. And here's proof. In 2004, when the Sonics were still in town, the Storm drew a sellout crowd of more than 17,000 fans for both games in the WNBA Finals. I'd argue that an NBA team only enhances the visibility of the WNBA team in the same city. They're not direct competitors, and their seasons don't overlap. Now, I reached out to her office asking whether she cares at all about a Sonics return, if she sees them as a threat to the Storm, and if she stands by her remarks from earlier this week. We've received no formal response. Either way, I will not let it go, and I will continue to live in the past. As a proud supporter of the Seattle Storm, as a strong denouncer of misogyny and sexism, I still desperately want to bring the Sonics back again, too. To dismiss me and the majority of Sonics fans because of the unnecessary hateful words of a few does not seem right. And it overshadows what should be a time to celebrate a big step forward in local sports. Now, I know in the grand scheme of things, her opinion won't affect much about the NBA at this arena, but I still think she should be held accountable for those comments. You can always find me on Twitter at AaronQ13Fox or email us at aaron@q13fox.com.